What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to bring you some more spooky stuff for One Mind Syndicate's Halloween. This week we're bringing you all types of scary stuff to honor Halloween. And today I'm like, why not give him a top 3 scariest creatures of Warhammer Fantasy? So without further ado, guys, let's dive into the lore of fantasy and bring you what I think are the scariest creatures throughout all of this universe. So let's dive in, starting with number 3. So my number 3 pick is none other than the vampire warrior known as Vlad von Karstein. He was originally known as Vashanesh. He was the first and greatest of the vampire counts. He was the one who tainted the human aristocracy of Sylvania with the curse of undeath, and in doing so, he created an undead kingdom in the heart of the empire. Now, say what you will about him, but one thing that is 100% true is that this guy is one ugly dude. He looks like a cross between Walder Frey from Game of Thrones and Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Now, if that ain't scary, I don't know what is. Now, Vlad was the first and greatest of all the vampire counts of Sylvania. He was indeed a master swordsman and a skilled general with no small aptitude in the magical arts. And it was he who tainted the aristocracy of Sylvania with the curse of vampirism. Now, I've said this before, but this guy is literally the one sole reason for this whole undead kingdom that arose in the heart of the empire. Now think about this, guys. This one-man creature's vampire thing was responsible for the rise of a great empire for the vampires. Now, if that's not a great deed in and of itself, I don't know what is. But anyway, guys, let's dive into our number 2 scariest creature in all of Warhammer Fantasy. Now, what's scarier than a vampire, you may ask? Well, how about a fusion of a vampire and a ghoul? Well, that's exactly what the Crypt Horror is. The Crypt Horror is a variation of the common ghoul who has consumed the blood of a vampire. Once a crypt ghoul ingests the blood of a vampire, its eyes turn blood red and it goes into a killing frenzy. During this stage in its transformation, the horror would pull down weaker members of its own pack, dragging its screeching prey into an open grave or a shattered tomb in order to consume this gruesome feast undisturbed. After finishing its cannibalistic orgy, the swollen ghoul will crawl back to await its master, hoping for another draught of its vampiric blood. This transformation continues until the coming of the next full moon. The new Crypt Horror will have grown to several times its original size and ferocity, all thanks to the unnatural blood of the vampire and the consumption of extraordinary amounts of flesh. Now, in battle, packs of Crypt Horrors muscle their way towards the front lines, with their eyes glowing with dire light. They use shattered gravestones, tomb sanctuaries, and cemetery railings to smash aside those brave enough to stand before them. But it's their meat-encrusted fangs and talons that are to be avoided at all costs, for even a shallow wound from a Crypt Horror bears enough poisonous rot to kill a horse. Despised by the living and the dead alike, Crypt Horrors are truly creatures to be feared. Now, before we get to our number 1 creepiest creature in Warhammer Fantasy, we do have 2 honorable mentions, and the first is the Spider Riders of the Goblin Forces. In the darkest woods of the old world, there are giant spiders who have been known to grow large enough to serve as mounts for many forest goblin tribes, and these goblins are strong enough, or sometimes stupid enough, to grab a hold of these giant arachnids and ride them into battle. Whatever the breed, these spiders are known notoriously for being highly poisonous, and they do have steely pincer-like mandibles that can punch straight through plate mail, allowing this creature to deliver a lethal bite that can kill a man in mere moments. They also have an unnatural ability to traverse even the most difficult terrain with relative ease, even the most densely packed patches of woodland. In essence, these spider riders are known to be skilled hunters and trappers of the forest, able to silently stalk their prey in near total silence, until finally the fangs dive deep into the foe's pitiful flesh. The Hydra is yet another honorable mention in this list, for they are titanic beasts of the mountains, whose ill temper and ravenous nature have proven the doom of many unsuspecting foes. So ferocious is the Hydra that campaigning armies often make wide detours to avoid intruding on such a beast's lair. Hydras are rampaging and voracious monsters indeed. No matter how much they consume, they seem to always be hungry for more flesh. Coming in at our number 1 is the disgustingly horrendous Hell Pit Abomination. The Hell Pit Abomination is the greatest and most horrific monstrosity of the Skaven who they've ever have created. This creature is a mountain of misshapen flesh upon flesh that moves in a rippling tide of unnatural spasms, writhing like worm-like creatures, and it uses its many limbs to pull and drag its hideous bulk forward. Various mechanical bits, such as wheels, cogs, and fluid pumps, have been grafted onto this beast to ensure that it moves at optimal speed, and that the warpstone mutated growth agents are regularly injected into this beast's metabolism. A multitude of heads dart out from the lumpen mounds of muscle and bone at the behemoth's forefront. These heads that snake out are all but vermin-like, some glisten hairlessly, like unborn rat monstrosities. Many have eyes, but few are blind, twisting and craning to catch the scent of prey, hissing and snapping at the air with their razor-sharp incisors. On the battlefield, this abomination is a horrendous monstrosity indeed. Many will flee at the unnatural sight of this abomination long before the creature is close enough for a good look. With a horrifying slither and shamble, this creature propels itself across the battlefield, rearing up to a towering height before it hits the enemy like a thunderbolt. Vast boulder-sized fists smash aside walls and send foes flying, while hungry jaws snap and greedily devour the broken victims. Once in combat, the Hell Pit Abomination is relentless, dragging its mighty bulk onwards to crush any at its wake. Hell Pit Abominations are notoriously hard to kill. Oftentimes, these disgusting creatures can heal their own wounds, regrow severed limbs, and rise from the dead to attack once again. And there you have it, guys. This was my personal top 3 creepiest Warhammer fantasy creatures. If you guys have other awesomely nasty, putrid, infested warriors that you guys want us to cover, let us know. But first of all, let me know what your top 3 creepy creatures are. Yes, I can't believe anybody else would have something to top the Hell Pit Abomination. This thing is literally the nastiest thing I've seen. It's a bunch of flesh and limbs sewn together to this like mouse-like beast. I don't even know what else to call it. It's almost like slug-like in a way. But yeah, that thing's nasty. Anyway, guys, let me know what are your top 3 and what other fantasy things you want us to cover. As always, guys, stay subscribed because Hallow Week is bringing you some more scares. And that's all I got for you guys today. Don't forget to hit us up on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for more things 40k, as well as other things nerdy. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you then.
Peace out.